Hi everybody, it's Susan and Michael again, and we are cooking a recipe from our Omnitrition Drops program book, and in here are recipes. This is where I keep track of my weight loss, and we're going to be making this pot roast recipe today, and I will be typing that into this page as well. Okay, so here we have Michael. Say hi, Michael.
Hello.
And in front of Michael is some big hunks of stew meat that we got at Costco. We're going to make a double recipe of this stuff. And what he's doing right now is he's cutting up some red onion. We're making a double portion, so 2 onions in 1-inch chunks. And so far that's 1 onion that he cut in half previously. And soon we'll be putting in some other vegetables as well. This is a surprisingly delicious recipe that we would make even if we weren't on this program. Notice Michael does a great job of keeping his fingers away from the knife. Okay, so there's the onion. Next he's going to chop up 8 celery sticks in thick slices. Okay, so Michael just cleaned the celery and we're cutting it rustic style, which is in thick slices. It's going to be, this all cooks down for quite a while. We have a crock pot over here that we're going to be putting all this into, so it cooks way down. Okay, and that's going to go in the bowl with the onions. And next is the celery. Sorry, next is the cabbage. On the cabbage, you want to cut out that little stem part. So he's doing that right now. It's like a little triangle that comes out. And then cut that up in 1-inch chunks also. Yeah, that's good job, Mikey. The problem with this dish we found is that we like it so much we are tempted to eat too much of it. So when you serve it, you have to put just your portion on the plate and then put the rest away. Or have lots of other people over, which is what we're doing, to enjoy it. So it's gone. All right, heaping bowl of vegetables. All right, so all of the vegetables are cut, and now we pulled the meat out of the container and we're ready to season the meat before we brown it. So the first thing is the recipe calls for garlic powder and also salt. So we don't happen to have garlic powder right now, so we're using garlic salt, and we are omitting the salt that the recipe calls for. What Michael's doing right now is using Italian seasoning on that, and he's going to wind up putting that on there and then rubbing it into the meat, doing the pepper, and then flipping it over and doing the same thing on the other side. So both sides of this nice hunk of meat will be seasoned. So here is the meat all seasoned and ready to go. It's seasoned on both sides. And on our stove, we have a nonstick pan that's on high right now, and it's heating up, and you can start to see a little smoke come off of it, so I would say it's ready. We're going to sear this meat. The idea is to, look at how perfectly that fits in that pan. Wow. So the idea is to brown it on 2 sides. We didn't use any oil or spray or anything. It's just a dry pot. And by the way, the recipe calls for us to use a Dutch oven. We don't have one of those either, so we're frying it up in this pan, and then we're going to transfer it over to that crock pot. I'll tell you what, the recipe works just as good, and we don't have to buy a Dutch oven this way. So we're going to check it now. Is it browned enough? Yeah, not quite. We're going to cook it a little bit longer. Okay, it's been another minute or so. We're going to check it again. Oh, looks good. Takes a little something to turn that over. Starting to look great. Two giant, to give you a sense of the size, that's my hand. These are big. It's about a little over 4 pounds of meat here.
And say what we're doing.
While that meat is cooking, we're going to put some of these vegetables on the bottom of our crock pot to shield the meat a little bit. And we're choosing the cabbage because that's going to release the most liquid. And we want the onions to be up next to the beef.
Put any liquid.
Okay, here we go. The meat is brown, and you do not put any liquid at all. It's amazing to think that, but you don't. And we are going to put these 2 hunks of meat sort of sideways on purpose in here so that we can fit the vegetables down in between. There we go. More cabbage, and if some of it falls on the floor, that's what dogs are for. Okay, so we got the vegetables on both sides of the meat, and you can see that it's packed to the very brim. Michael's going to put the cover on and turn it on. And you'll see that it doesn't close all the way. The vegetables will cook down pretty quickly, and then it will close. It'll be fine. But we are maxing out the weight of our crock pot. All right, we'll show you what it's like when it's done. We're going to cook it all afternoon. It's currently 1:32 in Arizona, so we will be cooking it for about 5 hours on low. See you later.